Hello and welcome to PlayStation Racer. On this channel I'm documenting my journey playing online racing sims, primarily Gran Turismo and Formula 1 2021. That's the game that we're looking at today. We're up to our fourth race within the My Team career mode, and we need to try and build on the success that we had in the last race. It was a fantastic strategy call last race where we managed to put the intermediate tyres on, and right at the end of the race we overtook a number of cars to take the win. And this weekend we need to try and build on that. Now, I didn't make a note of the standings from the last race, so I can't update you on those, but obviously we would have made some steps forward by winning that race, although Perez came in third and Lewis second, so they will be really close behind me. And in this race it turned out to be quite an interesting one. We had a wet qualifier. We then had a dry race with plenty of action, with at least two safety cars that really mixed things up for me and caused me some real trouble. So we're going to get into all of that within this video. We're going to go through the practice sessions, the qualifying, and then the race itself. And then after that we will have another video which will be the highlights. That'll be a much smaller condensed video. This is a new channel. I'm trying to build it at the moment, so if you would be kind enough to subscribe to this channel, I would appreciate it very much. It will help me out an awful lot as I try and get some traction on this channel. So we're into this weekend. We are in Madrid in Spain, and we're just going through the R&D options, and on the screen now we're just running through the activities. We can only really put one in there. I actually put 2 single days in, but we only had 2 days of activity time, so not much of an opportunity to do too much in there. So once you finish that, we're going to go to the race weekend and we'll begin. So we're going to jump into the workstation, and I'm going to do my usual. We're going to go with one run that I will do with me driving, and then we're going to use the quick practice options to speed through and try and develop some of the R&D. So if we dive into practice 1 for the moment, thankfully all of these sessions are dry. Because I want to give myself the option to go out again later if this session goes wrong, we're going to do the first practice session as the run that I will do. So we've got the normal options, the race strategy, tyre management, and track acclimatisation. Track acclimatisation is the one that I normally go for because that gives us the gates and it does help us to learn the track more. So we've opted for that at the moment, and we are 3, 2, 1, and we are racing.
Okay, your goal is to get through as many corner gates as quickly and precisely as possible. Remember to activate your DRS in the DRS zone as well.
Okay, so I've still got DRS as being auto, so I haven't got to worry about that too much, but we're looking for a fast sector 1, we're looking for a clean lap, and we're looking for a racing line, and I want to try and get this done as quickly as possible this weekend. And the program has just started. Now, I'm not going to go through this whole session because I have got another video which I'll link to above, which is talking a lot more about these practice sessions, so let's just skim through this for the moment.
Approaching the DRS zone, watch your MFD for the activation point.
So as we come around for the end of that particular
The
lap,
underbody's damaged. Expect significant performance issues until you come in and let us start repairs.
okay, so that's a bit of a shame, but as we
That's
come,
looking good. Now let's try for purple. You'll get a bonus for consistency if you can chain good corners together.
so it's a shame about the underbody damage, but we had a relatively successful first lap. We had a few missed gates, but we've got our fast sector 1 done. We've got a clean lap, and now we're just working on the racing line where I need to keep this within 2 meters of the line. Okay, as we come round for the end of the second lap, there's a couple of corners where I keep throwing it wide at the moment, which is causing me some issues, so I don't think we're going to get the racing line done this time. We're going to have
This
to
is
go,
the last lap of the program. Final lap of the program.
we're going to have to go for a final lap to see if we can get the racing line. So this really is all or nothing. Okay, so as we're coming up for the end of this lap, you can see that I'm mostly greens. I took this a lot easier than I normally would, not nearly as many purples, so we're really just trying to keep on that racing line to try and get the program. And as
Program
we-
complete, program complete.
Yes.
These results will do, although you could definitely do better. Consider giving it another shot.
As we came across the line, we still didn't get our racing line, and we also missed out on points as well. So not a great session, but we have got a couple of greens.
There's been some damage to the underbody. We're recommending you come in so we can make repairs. Right, come in at the end of this lap. There's only 1 lap of fuel remaining. Fuel is marginal. Box within 2 laps. Box this lap, please. Box this lap. When driving with the pit assist disabled, you'll need to be mindful of your speed when entering the pit lane. If you hit the limiter line too fast, you'll pick up a penalty. Watch the on-screen prompts that show your target speed and distance to the limiter line.
So just the 2 development boosts done. We didn't quite make the racing line. Need to make a decision whether we go out again or whether we just jump to the next quick start. So we're losing quite a fair bit of time, over 5 minutes, because of the underbody damage.
Car repairs have set us back a little.
So those repairs took a little bit of time. We're going to come out again and just see if we can get a full set of green for these development boosts. So again, we've got the fast sector 1 and the clean lap done, but we do need to see if we can get this racing line. Still been going wide on a couple of the corners, so I think that with a fixed car, better handling and just a little bit more knowledge of this track, that we might actually be able to get this done pretty quickly. So the track acclimatisation program has just begun, and let's see how we can do on this first lap. Okay, so as we come around for the end of that first lap, we need to achieve a score of 470. We've got quite a few purples and greens, but we did pick up a couple of reds in there, so this is going to be a little bit
close. You have a
close.
solid handle on the lap. Let's try and perfect each turn. Remember that chaining good corners together will give you a consistency bonus.
That was good. We didn't get enough points really, but we did get our racing line development boost, so I'm quite happy with that. And with that, I think we'll probably call it a day on this particular practice session. We'll come into the pits, and then we'll leave the next 2 quick practices for the rest of the train, of the development programs, or the development boost programs that we need to do. But again, just on this lap, got a nice string of purples, green there, but we do seem to be hooking up this track quite nicely now, getting quicker all the time.
Final lap. This is the final lap of the program.
Okay, so I changed my mind. The score is coming up slowly. We did get a green there, so I've decided to shoot for another lap. It's the final one of the program, so this one really is all or nothing, so we're really going to go for it. 2 purples already. We missed a few there right at the end. That's probably going to cost us pretty dearly. I'm not sure that it's really worth carrying on, but we'll see what we get.
Okay then, that's the end of the program and plenty of useful data. Return to base when you can so we can go over it.
So the result
Okay,
was...
we can take you this lap.
Okay, so the final score was pretty low, and we finished up the session with a nice little spin. I seem to be the king of the spins at the moment, and I guess I can't go through a whole practice session without a spin, can I?
There's only 1 lap of fuel remaining. Come in this lap, please. Box this lap.
Okay, so as we come into the pits, we've got 3 green sectors, which is rather nice for the development boosts, and I think that was position 9, so not great, still a fair bit of work to be done, but we are on the hard tyres. I don't know what the other tyres the other guys are running. I'm going to assume that there's some softs and some mediums in there, which would be quicker tyres for us. So I'm not too worried about the position at this precise moment in time. So not too much time left to run, so we'll just scrub through the amount of time that we've got left.
It's time to remind ourselves of our top 3, who are Leclerc, Perez, and Carlos Sainz. And if today's practice is anything to go by, we're in for an exceptional weekend of Formula One.
So we're quite a way down the table, 11th at the moment. So it looks like we're going to have to try a little bit harder, otherwise the session was pretty uneventful. So we'll head into practice 2. And again, I'm going to do the next 2 practices as the quick practice just to see if we can get the R&D points and reduce the cost and get some benefit from the quick practice. So it looks like we're going with 100% success, so no surprise that that one is green. Then doing the 50% success rate one there, the drag reduction, that failed. It's always a bit of a gamble when you go for the 50 and the 25% ones, and we haven't got enough time to run any of those. So jumped over to have a look at these. We can average tyre wear we can do. It failed. Again, it's only 25% and not enough time to run that either. So that's the end of that session, and then we'll jump straight into practice 3, and again another quick practice session where we'll just see if we can get a few more of these development boosts done. So we'll go to quick practice and we'll dive straight into the tyre management option, and we'll go with the 100% success rate just to get some R&D points. We'll do the engine power and low tyre wear, purple and green on that, which was good, and then we'll go with the rear downforce, which we should get, and we do. That's a green, and we've just got enough time to do the drag reduction option there. It's a green on that one too. So yeah, pretty good. That wasn't too bad for that practice session. Really rather pleased with that. So we got some nice resource points to apply. Brings us up to over 1,000 to spend, and a nice selection of development boosts to be applied. So these are going to reduce the cost of all of these items to be developed, and hopefully that will enable us to develop our car quicker, something that we definitely need to do, especially as I'm bringing the AI up. I need as I'm making the other car drivers better than me, or I'm shortening the gap between how easy the game is making the racing for me. As we make it sort of more realistic, we're going to need to have a much better car. So developing the car with R&D is all important. So then we go into the practice session, the qualifying session. Dreading this because it looks like it's going to be wet. Hopefully we might get a dry patch, but it certainly doesn't look like it from that overhead. That track looks pretty soaked, so this is going to make for a very interesting session. Just checking in with my race engineer on a few bits and pieces before we go out, and then we'll do our usual flying lap and see if we can get a reasonable time on the board. I don't know whether the session is going to get worse or better, but I do like to try and get something on the board earlier, especially if the session gets worse. So, pretty wet out here. There's a lot of rain on the camera lens. There's quite a lot of standing water, a few puddles. So initially for the first few corners we're really going to need to feel our way around the track and just find out how much grip there is and where that grip is. Looks like we are on full wet tyres. And as we come around this corner, we see the grandstand, and we're going to floor it, and we're into our first qualifying lap. Currently sitting in 20th place, so I really hope that we will be able to improve on that somewhat. I need to try and push this as hard as we can, but obviously we want to try and make sure that we keep it on the tarmac, keep it on the track, and just try and set a decent time. We don't want to lose a lap time because of cutting corners or any other sort of penalties. So as we come around the last corner, really pushing this as hard as we can. And as we cross the line, we get 4th place. That is a lot better than I had thought. I'm not quite sure who else hasn't run. It may well be that people are going to come out later. Looks like Max just put in a 1:35, so we are a fair bit off the pace for that. So we're going to go for another lap and just keep pushing.
There's only one lap of fuel remaining.
Getting a bit of a slipstream for Mocons. We caught him up pretty quickly. Looks like we might need to dispatch him fairly quickly if we can. Not really going to do it there. Just try and send this up the inside. Ever so slippery. Just trying to keep the car so we don't crash into each other, and just not really finding a way through at the moment. So this is really taking this lap away from us. Looks like we've managed to do the overtake there, but I think that's probably wrecked our lap a little bit too much. We are 4 tenths up, 5 tenths up, so we are doing better. We are green on both of the first and the second sectors. Lewis Hamilton just puts in the fastest lap, so the track does seem to be getting quicker. Or maybe these guys are just coming out, these top runners, coming out for their first runs, managing to find grip.
Understood, stopping this lap.
We've crossed in 7th place, so we really do need to do a little bit more. So we'll come into the box, put a new set of boots on, and then we'll come back out and see if we can do better.
Okay, with conditions as they are, I'd suggest you take a set of full wets.
So we've got just 7 minutes of this session to go. We're sitting in 10th position now. Cars all set up nicely. We've got full wets on, no damage or anything. So we just come through this little chicane. around, trying to build as much speed as we can on this corner. As we come up to cross the line, we've really got to make this work now. We've just got less than 7 minutes, and we do really need to pull ourselves up. We are green on the delta at the moment, which is really good. 6, 7, 8 tenths of a second up in the first corner. That's really, really encouraging. Throwing caution to the wind a little bit. Just aquaplaning a little bit on some water there, which took us a little bit wide. We've managed to get purple for the first sector, which is really good.
We have 2 laps of fuel remaining.
Okay, that's as expected. Oh, a little bit wide there on the grass. Just held it together. The problem with these white lines and the grass in the wet, it can really throw you around. So just being a little bit careful about how much curb I'm taking, and I really don't want to be too wide, too much. Could have taken that a lot quicker, backed out a lot more than I should really, but we are 1.4 seconds up on our delta at the moment, so this is looking like a reasonable lap. Constantly going wide on that corner really is causing me some trouble, but we have gone green on sector 2, which is pretty good. So the green and the purple is looking quite nice at this point. The rain is still coming down, it's still heavy. As we get to the chicane, we need a good exit from the chicane here. We can carry the speed through this corner. The delta is increasing all the time, so it looks like we managed to do that.
You've moved up to P3.
Okay, so P3 is not too bad. It's certainly better than when we started the lap. We're going to carry on and do another lap and see if we can improve. Obviously the delta is red at the moment. It's going a little bit wide there. We've got a warning for exceeding track limits. Just shows how much we're pushing, but it is getting wetter and wetter all the time out here. Red for sector 1 at the moment. Okay, as we come up to finish this lap, we've not got a lot more laps to do. 3 minutes, fuel issues. We have got a red sector 1, we've got a purple sector 2, and we are well up on the delta.
That was the fastest
as
lap.
we cross the line. Well, that was a surprise. We started off pretty poorly with a red sector, and we followed that up with 2 purple sectors. I think that's probably about as fast as I'm going to push that, so we're going to come in now. I really don't think that there is an awful lot more that I can do. Could possibly go again and try for a better sector 1, but I don't really want to damage the car at this point. I think that now is a good time to call it quits and come in and see how we can do in the race tomorrow.
We're all ready for tomorrow's race, but before we begin, let's have a quick look at those who will be fronting the grid. Morgan, Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas. With qualifying complete, all that remains is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the Grand Prix tomorrow, so make sure you join us then.
Okay, so I'm not quite sure how on earth we managed to get pole position in that race. It was pretty tight at the top of there. 0.3, 0.6, 0.7. Jack managed to come in at 20th, so I'm really glad that we are in pole position. Hopefully we'll be able to transfer that into a race win. Otherwise, a fairly standard session, not too much to report. And yeah, everything to do tomorrow.
Right, I think we can call that a successful qualifying. We should be in with a good chance in the race.
Welcome along then to what promises to be another fascinating Spanish Grand Prix. A race which saw Max Verstappen win on his first ever appearance with the Red Bull team in 2016. This after the dramatic coming together of Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg on the first lap. Will we see more moments for the scrapbook here today? The Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya, a track that will certainly force the drivers to push themselves. It consists of a very impressive main straight going into turn 1. It's a straight that also offers a DRS zone, so it's likely to be a hot spot for overtakes. It's just about time to go to the track for the beginning of the race, but before we do, Anthony Davidson, what types of strategy do you think we can expect for today's event?
Well, there's a lot that both the driver and the team have to keep in mind when going into a race. The tyres, fuel, energy recovery systems, the list goes on and on. But I think the key to today's victory will come down to the pit stop strategy. Come in too soon and you might find yourself needing more than one stop. Too late and you're putting yourself at a disadvantage by spending longer on worn tyres.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Morgan lines up on pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid we have Bottas, Perez, Max Verstappen and Leclerc, Sainz, Ricciardo, Fernando Alonso and Pierre Gasly, Vettel, Ocon, Lance Stroll and Tsunoda, Giovinazzi, Raikkonen, George Russell and Lando Norris, Mick Schumacher, Latifi, Mazepin and Jack Aitken. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
After the points finish last race, let's aim to keep the momentum going.
Okay, so as far as strategy is concerned, we're going to go with the soft and the medium. Okay, so here we go. Everything to play for. Let's see if we can build on the success of last weekend. And we get a reasonably good start.
Monitoring somewhere on the ICE. Be aware that we will start to see a loss of power.
Oh, great. So we've got loss of power issues. Whoa, what happened there? Collision with Hamilton. Hamilton's out. So we had a coming together with Hamilton. And he's out. What on earth has happened there? Let's just go back and have a look at this as a replay. So this is a view from the side of the track. So we're coming down. Everything's all okay at the moment. And I'm just ahead. Oh, Lewis throws it up the inside. That's exactly what he did at Silverstone, where Max went off into the tyre barrier in 2021 for real, and it looks like I managed to get away with that. This is Carlos Sainz. He had an awesome start, got caught up behind the Red Bull, went to the right hand side, and of course with the coming together, the Red Bull had to back out of that, which really let him through. Massive jump up the order there for Carlos, and he's even got a run on me. I went a little bit wide there, and not a good line there either from me. I'm all over the place, and Carlos is right there. A lock up, I'm too deep, and Carlos is going to get by. Oh, I just managed to get the power down, and I think I'm going to manage to stay in front as we go through this corner, and yeah, it looks like we've got that done. But what a start from Carlos. This is from Lewis, so we can really see what's going on. He got an okay start, and then he just saw an opening there, went down the inside. I really don't think that was there. I certainly didn't notice him. I really don't think that move was on. This is a slow-mo. We're well into the corner and he's only just alongside. Bounces on the curb, which puts him across and connects with my rear tyre and wipes his front tyre off. Really unfortunate, but I'm so glad that we're managing to keep running. That could have ended so differently. Oh, what a first corner incident that was. Oh, I wonder what damage there is on my car. This is a view from Valtteri. Valtteri got a great start. I got a little bit of wheel spin. I think Lewis did too there, but Valtteri got a blinding start there. And of course, with everything going off in front of him, he just had nowhere to go. The Red Bull ended up backing up as well as Sainz came around the outside there. And Valtteri had to settle in for 4th place. But really saw everything that was going on. So yeah, a very, very, very busy start. So we're back running live here. This is where Carlos was really having a go at me. Came around this corner, just managed to get a good run out of there and managed to consolidate that 1st place. Back with Valtteri, you can see it's pretty tight behind me. You've got Carlos, Sergio, Valtteri, Max, all very, very close. Not quite sure how close Charles is, but the Ferraris are doing pretty well in this race. Yeah, pretty close, so it's all to play for behind. And this is Jack. Now Jack is starting from dead last, so he's really got to go some if he's going to try and get up into the points. A fairly standard, okayish start. I mean, with everything that's going on up ahead, probably better just to hang back a little bit. But it was a bit mediocre, I'm afraid. So we're definitely going to need to put some time into Jack. So back racing, we're on. Okay, so we're actually on lap 3 now. Jump forward a little bit. We've got a margin of 1.3, 1.4 seconds to Sainz. Perez and Bottas just behind, and really just knuckling down at the moment to try and build that gap.
Bodywork's taken a few scrapes. Try not to make it any worse.
So obviously we've been riding the curbs and damaged the underbody a little bit, but as we come across to finish this lap, we're just over a second ahead of Sainz. So the adjustments that we're doing with the AI is bringing us back into line with the other guys, but we are still ahead. So probably just need to tweak the AI a little bit more. But we're into our pit window at the moment. We're running okay. The tyres don't look too bad. 23%, 24% on the near side front. The others are green in the teens. But we are down on sector 1. We're in red sector 1 at the moment, which isn't great. So do we stick with the strategy or do we come in? 1.6, 1.7 gap to Sainz at the moment, so he's building very slowly. Not a lot. How are we going to do on this corner? Going slightly wide again. So back down with Charles Leclerc. He's going well, but you can see how tight this little train of cars is here. All very, very close. That's probably giving me a little bit of an advantage, because whilst these guys are squabbling amongst themselves, it's giving me an opportunity just to get away a little bit. So up to 2 seconds. Not running away with this one. One little mistake and they're going to be right on me again into DRS zone, or could even be worse. Could put myself behind them. So continuing to push very hard. This is a little view from outside of the car with our new sponsor. And you can see that the other cars are within touching distance, but we're keeping it relatively smooth at the moment. Just keeping our head down, keeping in the groove. Try not to throw the car around too much, watching braking points, turning points. Just trying to apex these corners as much as possible. And just try and keep Carlos around about 2 seconds behind. That just gives us a little bit of breathing space if we go slightly wide on a corner. It isn't a lot, but just enough. So as we come round to finish lap 5 out of 17. Again, we are just under 2 seconds gap to Carlos. So really needing to concentrate and keep pushing as hard as we can right now. And we're pushing too hard, we've got to spin. That's exactly what I was afraid of. Just one little mistake and that was a big enough spin. We did manage to do a bit of a donut there and get back into racing, but we are well down. So this is a replay of that spin. Oh, came across the track. That was a little bit naughty. We just managed to get away with that. That could have ended so differently. So now we're back down with Lando Norris making a move on Kimi Raikkonen. Trying to send it down the inside. Oh, a lovely move. Kimi's fighting back. Oh, Kimi's coming back. Can Lando hold it through there? Yes, he can. And I think that is the move done. Lovely little move from Lando Norris there. He's really been a very, very good driver during 2021. And that is just an example of just how good he is. So back on board with me, and we are in 6th position, chasing down Leclerc as we come across to finish lap 6. And we are okay. Leclerc has dived into the pit. That promotes us up to 5th, and we're chasing Verstappen, who is only 6 seconds ahead. So we've really got to keep our head down now and try and make good on these tyres and see if we can climb our way up the order a little bit. Tyre wear isn't looking too good at the moment. We're 43% on the near side front tyre. The others are all in their 20s. So this track is clearly very hard on that near side front tyre. It's something I might need to keep in mind as we progress through the Grand Prix. But unfortunately we didn't keep an eye on it enough, and we managed to throw it off the track and into the gravel. Spun around and ooh, bit of debris there. Something happened. Okay, so it looks like we've taken out Vettel. This is Vettel's view, and oh, I've done exactly the same as I did with Max the other race. Trying to recover, we come back across the track and Vettel really had nowhere to go and just collected with me. I've really got to work on rejoining the track. That is just not good enough. So under the safety car we decided to come in and pit for new tyres. How we're still running after being T-boned like that, I mean, that really took Vettel out, and our car was built like a tank. To take the amount of impact that we had there and still be running is insane. Almost crossed the white line as well there. That wasn't great. And as we get up towards the end of the safety car period, we're all bunching up, and it's down to Perez to bolt when he wants to. And unfortunately I think we're going to get caught on the chicane. We did. We were midway through the chicane as the train bolted, and that has put us a little bit back. So we can see that again. Gasly disappears, he gets away with it, and we were just at the wrong time for that restart.
The track is clear. Green flag.
Oh, that's a real shame. So that's given Gasly a good old jump on us.
7.8 seconds.
We're right back down in 9th position at the moment. So we're back with Lando Norris here. He's going to have a move on Esteban Ocon, I think, here. He's having a brilliant race, is Lando. He's only down in 12th, but he's doing some good overtakes. Nice inside moves there. Textbook and done really, really nicely. I think Lando should be getting more points than he is.
Okay, watch your pace. We've been informed that the safety car is out. There appears to have been an issue with multiple stopped vehicles on the track.
Okay, we've got a few people gone out, and that is not me involved with this one. So we've got something else that has gone on.
Okay, slow down.
Mick Schumacher's
Your
out.
delta is negative, which means you are too fast. Reduce your pace.
Oh no! We've got a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. I was too interested in who crashed out and I wasn't watching the deltas. So this is a replay of it. We've got a car backwards and a whole load piling. Oh my gosh, so I think it's Giovinazzi that goes round. Yep, he spins and everybody else just piles into him who couldn't get out of the way. Loads of cars involved. Round he goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars involved in that. And we've got our penalty to serve. That is really going to cost us. We're back in 9th place now. And if we've got to do a drive-through penalty with the whole of the pack closed up, we are going to struggle to get anything from this Grand Prix. And Jack is down the back of the pack as well. He's not in a points paying position, so we come through for our drive-through penalty. One of the tougher penalties that the stewards can give. The stop and go is worse. All we can do is just watch all these cars piling past us. And 17th position at the moment. I think that's going to put us last. George Russell's out, Schumacher's out. And we are now dead last on the track. And worse than that, we needed 10 seconds off the back of Latifi with a lap and a bit to go. So, yeah, that has really crucified our race. So, running with Jack at the moment. He's actually gone up to 13th with all of that going on, but unfortunately Tsunoda makes a move on him, and he makes that one stick. Sergio Perez crosses the line to win the Grand Prix, and this is Tsunoda's overtake on Jack. This is a replay. Lines him up nicely, little dummy. Sends Jack one way and then the other, and then Tsunoda makes a move around the outside. Jack's fighting back. I think Tsunoda has got the inside for this next corner, and Jack has to concede that corner, and I think that's move done. And we can just watch Jack come over the line in 14th place, so again just outside of the points, but he has outperformed us today. Back with ourselves, and we are 17th position, but we are dead last, and we're coming across the line in a world of our own, not near anybody. That is a terrible, terrible result for Mitchell Morgan Racing. Doesn't get any worse than that. Jack got driver of the day, which is rather nice. Kudos, but no points. Doesn't do us any good in the driver's standings.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sport that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win.
So, Perez back on the top step again. That is not going to do us any good for the championship. Good to see the Ferrari up there. But that's a painful result for us.
A result that will make Sergio Perez happy as he pushes his championship lead out even further. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
Jack Aitken gets my vote today.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Red Bull take over as championship leaders. Meanwhile, Ferrari have improved their position. A strong weekend from them as they fight their way towards the top. It's been an absolutely wild weekend of Formula One action. I can't wait to see what's next.
Oh, well, I'm hoping the next Grand Prix is going to be better than that one. We have dropped back really, really badly. So as far as the incidents are concerned, Lewis Hamilton didn't finish. We took him out in the first corner. I got a warning for a collision with Hamilton. We then had another collision with Sebastian Vettel as we were coming across the track. So that's two drivers, two cars that we took out in this one race. Then Kimi Raikkonen, George Russell, Mick Schumacher, and they all went out. And Antonio Giovinazzi caused that one, he got a warning as well. Nicholas Latifi got a 5-second time penalty for a severe collision with Schumacher. And then of course I had my drive-through penalty, which really didn't do us any favours whatsoever. Not an awful lot to report on the pit stops, fairly straightforward. As far as the driver standings are concerned, Sergio Perez leads the table. We are 28 points behind, with the two Mercedes very close behind us. Carlos Sainz has pulled up quite nicely in the Ferrari. Max in 6th, Charles in 7th, and then we got the McLarens and the rest of the field. So yeah, we've really got to continue to push a little bit. And then as far as the Constructors' Championship is concerned, then we've moved down to 4th place after that, with the Ferrari leapfrogging us. So it's quite a lot of work to do, and we need to get ourselves settled for the next Grand Prix. Our rivalry breakdown didn't do us any favours either. So all in all, not a great weekend for Mitchell Morgan Racing. So we didn't do very well with our sponsor, and then we've got plenty of damage as well, which is just rubbing salt into the wound. So we'll look forward to the next round 5 at Monaco, which is going to be tough. But in the meantime, thank you very much for watching. Please consider subscribing, and I'll see you on the next video coming soon. Take care. Bye bye.